So this is training in Audacity or audio editing training with iCann technologies. And okay, so first we're going to download Audacity, which we'll use for training. So you can Google Audacity. So I think I made a mistake. So it is Audacity. Okay, Audacity or Audacity. And we can open the Audacity website. And then we can move on to download. Okay. And over here, we can download previous versions or current versions. Okay. So whichever version will be helpful. Okay. So it's bringing a pop-up for us to download. I've already downloaded it, so I don't have to download it again. To be able to use other audio types, okay, apart from the few ones which have already been provided within the app, you may have to download and install FFmpeg, okay, and that would help you to, it says allows Audacity to import and export many additional audio formats such as AC3, AMR, NB, M4A, WMA. Okay, so if you're working with MP3, it's simple, you can just go straight ahead. But if you have to work with something like M4A and other versions or other audio formats, okay, you would need to install FFmpeg to be able to do that. Okay, so you have to download FFmpeg, and then we can see the FFmpeg download page here, and you would have to install the FFmpeg that correlates with the version of Audacity you are using. Okay, so you use the latest FFmpeg for the latest Audacity. If you are using an older version of Audacity, you would have to use its correlating FFmpeg. They've provided a way you can use to install the FFmpeg and link it to Audacity for you to be able to have it working for you within Audacity. Okay, so that is it. So this is Audacity. Okay, this is Audacity. You have a lot of options and tools here. It has a simple interface you can use to do your audio edits. Okay, so it is used for audio recording, and it is also used for audio edits. Okay, and this time around we're going to focus on the editing of the audios alone. So we're going to bring some an audio. Okay, so here we have an audio file, and it is an M4A audio file. Okay, and assuming I had not installed FFmpeg, I wouldn't be able to import it to Audacity. But since I've installed it, I can just drag the audio and then paste it within Audacity. And we can see that it is importing. Okay, so it has finished importing, and we can see how the audio looks like over here. So the main tools we'll be using are over here. Okay, so we have the multi tool, we have the draw tool, we have the envelope tool, we have the time shift, we have the zoom tool, and then we also have the selection tool. Okay, so right now we want to zoom into the audio, we want to zoom into the audio and then see how it works. So we're going to choose the zoom tool, and then wherever we click within the audio file, it will just give us a more vivid view of the audio. Okay, we can use the selection tool, and then we can click on any side, and then it will, once we click on our space bar, it will start playing from that side. You can see what is happening over here. Once I click on the space bar, it plays it. So I can click on space bar again, and then it pauses it or it stops it. Now I can use the time shift tool, then I click and drag to my left to see the other sides of the audio. Okay, and I can still use my selection tool, and then I click anywhere, and you can notice the changes that are occurring over here. With the other sides, the audio frequency was very, very low, and so it was not really playing loudly. You can hardly hear what is going on over there, but with this side, you can notice that the audio is very high. Okay, so with the selection tool, we can select a part of the audio. Okay, let me play it. So it only plays the selected area, and we can as well delete that selected portion by clicking on backspace, and then we realize that it is taken off. So we can now click on it again. So we realize that that portion is taken out. So let's try it again. So we're going to delete this part and we play it. So the earliest part of the audio has been taken off. Okay, the earliest part of the audio has been taken off. So if you generally want to increase the volume of the audio, the whole audio, you can move this, okay, from 0 decibels to maybe a higher, maybe, the higher you go, the higher the sound becomes. Okay, so we'll keep it at 0 decibels. The lower you go also, the lower the sound. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to select the zoom tool, and we will hold shift. Okay, now when we don't hold shift and we just use the zoom tool, we click, it just keeps opening up the audio for us, okay, to see the depth of the audio. But once we click on shift, or we hold shift and then we click with the zoom tool, it now zooms out of it. So instead of having a plus over there, you have a minus, and then it's zooming out. Okay, so you can see this at a higher view. Okay, and you can just choose to select and delete a full portion of it. Okay, where the sound is very high, we realize that the frequencies are very high and a lot. Okay, where they are very low, you can see that there are falls in the frequency, in the audio frequency. So that is how Audacity works. Even with the selection tool, I can still use, or any other tool, I can still use 2 fingers on my touchpad to move my audio, or shift my audio left or right, okay, smoothly. So it's one advantage over there. And we're going to see another thing. So I'm using the zoom tool to increase. Okay, now watch what happens over here. Listen to the audio carefully. So you heard that, okay? And we can create some sort of fade in and fade out. So the size we want to fade, we can just select from that area, okay? And then we go to effect, and then we go to fade in, because it's at the beginning of the audio. Fade in, so it fades from the beginning. It is very small, and then it increases in volume. Okay, so now let's listen to it. You realize that it now goes from very low to high. Now if I should do Control Z, okay, it undoes it, so undo, and we can hear the original. Okay, so we can still use the edit, okay, and then redo or undo. So I can redo, which is Control Y, or undo what I did previously, which is Control Z. So let's redo the fade in, and then we can see the effect again. Okay, so let's try. Let's listen to this. Okay, or let's just take this small portion. Okay, just this part. We're going to do fade out for it. So we go to effect, fade out, and we realize that it goes from loud to a very low sound. So let's listen. We realize what happens over there. It fades the audio out. Okay, it fades the audio out. It fades the audio out. Okay, so there are many other effects that you can use. Okay, you can have echo to create echoes. You have loudness normalization. You use it to set the highest loudness that you can ever find within your audio, okay, or within a selected part of your audio. Noise reduction. Okay, so let's look for some noise and then take it out, and then we'll see how that also works. Okay, so let's try and find a noise. Okay, so this is a noise. Okay, we don't need it within the audio. Sometimes you may want to take noise from just a particular place, because if you want to try and take it out of the whole thing, you might end up taking some other important parts out of the audio. Okay, so mostly it's advisable to take out noise from just little portions and not just the whole audio. Okay, you can select the whole audio, just like we select it like this. You can select the whole thing by just clicking on the select over here. Okay, but let's try and take out this noise. So first we have to select the noise. Okay, with the selection tool, go to effect, go to noise reduction, and click on get noise profile. Okay, it means that we are telling the computer, or you're telling the program that this is, and if it notices anything like this, it is noise and it has to take it out. Okay, so you can select over that same noise or a larger area which you think there are other similar noises, okay, within. And then you go to effects again, you go to noise reduction again, and now you click on OK, and you realize that now it has taken out the noise that used to be here and a few others that were here. So if we try and play it, you realize that the noise has been taken away. Okay, the noise has been taken away. So that is how to remove noise in Audacity. Now, after you have finished your work, you now click on select, and then you go to effects, and then you go to compressor. Okay, what a compressor does is, within the audio, there are parts that are very low and there are parts that are very, very high, meaning that it makes the audio not balanced. Okay, it makes the audio so unbalanced. Some parts are very high, some parts are very low. It feels like there is no order or fluidity in the audio. So by using the compressor, you select everything, okay, and then you go to effects, select the compressor, and click on OK, and then it will begin to compress the whole audio for you. It will balance everything up. It will balance everything up for you, and we can see what is happening over here. It is applying the compressor, okay, and it depends on how long the audio is. It will just do it. It can do it fast, very fast, or it can take a while. So now it's done. Our compression is done. Okay. Now there are two ways we can save our project. If we want to save the project itself, we go to File and Save Project, and then Save As, and then we give it a name. So this time around, I'm going to save it at my desktop, and so I'm going to click Desktop, and I'm going to save it there, and then it's saving project and data files, or project data files. Okay, so you can see the progress. It also depends on how long the audio is. So that is about saving the project itself and not just the audio. Okay, so you can always return to the work by going to that project file. Now, just for an illustration, let me close this because we've already saved it. Okay, and we can see that a new file has been created over here, 11 October, which is our Audacity file. Okay, so once we click on this file, we would end up opening the project, and we can see the project data files saved in this folder. Okay, and you're not supposed to touch them or alter them till you are finished with your audio editing. So you have to create a good folder within your PC to have all your Audacity files in there. Okay, so that the data files don't go elsewhere and get messed up with. So we're going to click on the project file, okay, and it's going to open. So we have our project, okay, and even the last point we ended our edit is over here, and you can still play our audio. So we just played our audio, and if we want to save it as an MP3, this is what we do. So File, Export, and then export as MP3. Okay, and then we navigate to the desktop, and then we click on Save, and then we have the options to input the metadata. So if it's a music, artist name, the track title, album title, track number, year, genre, and other comments, you can put it in there, and anyone who has access to the MP3 file will be able to see all the details. Okay, but we don't need to input them now, so we can just click on OK, and then it will begin to export the audio for us. So again, like I said, depending on the length of the audio, is going to take some time, or it's going to be very, very, very fast. And when you're editing, you have to ensure that you take out all noises, parts that are not clear or that wouldn't make sense. You just take them out, okay, and you just delete them out, and you make sure that you compress the file at the end so that you have a balanced audio. Okay, and when there are spaces, I'm going to teach you how to do that, but when there are very long spaces or very long pauses, you have to take half of that space out, or about half of that space out. Okay, so that there isn't so long a pause in it, except it's a music file, okay, which is intended to be so you can have long pauses. Okay, so we have it saved now. We can go and check our file. So we have 11 October as an MP3 file over here. Okay, so we can click on it and then we can have our audio playing.
Everyone was come to pray, to seek the faith of our Lord Jesus.
So we realize our fade in and fade out. Okay, so that is it. So let's close it and go back to Audacity. So that is it. So when you have pauses like this, okay, so this is a short pause, but assuming it was a long pause, you would have just have to select about half of it and then delete it. Okay, delete it. Now you can also bring in so let me just clear this space out just to explain something. Okay, and we can move the audio to start from the second. Okay, so this is 1 second and this is 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It increases like that, and then you end up reaching the minutes and then perhaps the hours. Okay, depending on how you zoom it. So I can have something like this. So we've moved from the seconds to the minutes. So 45 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. We can keep moving. Okay, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we can have the audio zoomed in this way or zoomed out this way, and then we can let's try and bring in some other audios inside. This is an intro audio. Okay, so I'm going to drag it and then I'll bring it to Audacity and then I drop it over here. Okay, and let me zoom in. So the audio is very short over here. Let me zoom in. So you can see. So let's play. And we realize that two audios are overlapping. So we'll move this over here so that once one is finished, the other can continue. So we can also decrease it. Okay. And we can now play.
International is a spirit-filled mother support group that engages in prayer, teaching, and raising generations in God's way. We build mothers to stand in for their children and teach their children to be a blessing to their families. Hear this wonderful teaching and be blessed.
Everyone was come to pray.
So you realize what is happening over here. We've put two audios together. Okay. And if we think one should go down, we can just bring the volume down. Okay. And just like we did here, you can add a background music, and then you can adjust the volume of the background music. So let's try something. So we're going to take a background music. So I'm dragging it to Audacity, and this is the audio file. Okay, you can just so let's play.
Children International is a spirit-filled mother support.
So let's kind of increase the volume. Okay.
Speak Children International is a spirit.
So it's coming in a bit. I want to increase the volume so that you can hear it very well.
Speak Children International is a spirit-filled medicine.
So you now notice the presence of the background music inside. Okay, when you're using an earpiece to listen, you have a better experience of it, and then you know how well to adjust it. Okay.
Speak Children International is a spirit-filled medicine that engages in prayer, teaching, and
so this is not music, this is a message, and so the ratio of the background music to the message or voice itself should be 1:3. Okay, 1:3. So make sure you adjust the audio, okay, and the volume of the loudness of the message itself should be 2 times more than the volume of the background music, okay, so that you can have some good balance.
Speak Children International is a spirit-filled mother support group
Okay.
that engages in prayer.
So the purpose is to make the message or the voice louder and clearer than the music. We want to hear the message and not just the background music. Okay. The background music is just to support the message and make it sound very good. Okay. And sometimes to cover for some noise that cannot be taken out and all that. Okay. So we can as well shift an audio to the end of another. Okay. Anyhow we want. So this is our audio. We have 3 different audios over here. We compressed our main audio, okay, and for the other ones, they have already been edited, so we don't need to compress them, okay. So that's, we could have also brought, if this was an outro, if the intro was an outro, what we could have done is we could have also used the time shift to pick it up and then move it to the end of our audio. So I can just move this way and bring the audio to the end of the message. So we have something like this, okay, and then we're going to zoom in and you can start playing.
Blessed day. Amen.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Amen.
Mother Speak Children International.
So here it behaves like an outro audio. Okay, so that is it for the basic edits in Audacity.